Hi, I'm Austin Carroll, and today I'll be presenting Presentation 3, Modules 15 through 19 of Music 100. Modules 15 through 19 go over historical periods of music, mainly from different time periods. So, for example, Module 15 goes over the Renaissance from 1450 to 1600. Then, later on in sequential order, Module 16 covers the Baroque period from 1600 to 1750, Module 17, the Classical period from 1750 to 1825, Module 18, the Romantic era, 1820 to 1910, and then finally the Contemporary period, starting from 1910 and continuing on today. Because there are five modules, I feel like it's best to go over a vocabulary word from each to highlight their significance. The first vocabulary word I want to go over is madrigal from Module 15. Madrigal is a vocal music that originated from Italy around 1530 and flourished during the Renaissance, known as chanson in France and lied in Germany. It's typically written in 4 to 6 parts for voices and can be either accompanied or unaccompanied. It was the principal form for music during this era, especially in Italy and England. John Farmer's 1599's Fair Phyllis, which is about 2 minutes long, is one of the most famous four-part madrigal in music history. The next word, or more so phrase, I feel is important to explain is doctrine of the affections from Module 16. This is a theory that became established during the Baroque era, prescribed musical methods or figures for representing unique emotions. For instance, joy would use faster notes, and then sadness would use minor keys. Composers during this time were inspired by the doctrine, attempting to sustain a single affection or mood throughout an entire piece. In the occasional instance where the affection was altered, mood still stays the same regardless. Harpsichord, known as this era's quintessential instrument, was used a lot in executing pieces following these guidelines. In fact, it's used in Johann Sebastian Bach's piece, Air from Suite Number 3 in D major, about 6 minutes long, and is heavily influenced by the doctrine of affections. The next word I want to go over is chamber music from Module 17, which is an instrumental music ensemble, typically with one performer per instrumental part. More times than not, it's performed in twos to fives, but rarely exceeds a dozen. A string quartet and a sonata are the most important subgenres of this music. The increase in music enthusiasts during the 18th century fueled the rise in chamber music as it could be played in private homes. Clarinet Quintet in A major by Mozart, a little over 9 minutes long, is a beautiful example of chamber music. Moving on, we have vocabulary word number 4, texture from Module 18. This is the vertical structure of a composition. More specifically, how many voices or parts there are and how they interact, along with their configuration. Polyphony texture, which creates multiple independent sound layers, became increasingly involved in homophonic sections during the Romantic period. Technical advancements in instruments up to this point allowed for more homophonic and polyphonic sounds to be added, creating thicker sounds. With more instruments, a thicker texture is formed. So in Anton's piece, Symphony Number 4 in E flat, from around the 50-second mark to the 228 mark, it thickens the texture through implementation of more instruments throughout. The last word I want to go over is aleatory from Module 19. This enables the composer to introduce elements of chance into music performance through either performer's improvisation or composer's design. Also known as aleatoric music, chance music, or indeterminacy. There are two important things or distinctions it achieves. A, it reverses 11th century trends of absolute reliance on written musical notation, so by the book, per se. And two, it asks a philosophical question, what is music? American contemporary composer John Cage was one of the first to adopt this type of music. He lifted traditional music restrictions from this work and to demonstrate the aleatory ability in sonatas and interludes number 2, around 4 minutes long. He does it really well. So, conclusion. So the main thing to take away from here is that the historical periods in section 4 broaden our horizon for music. We can dissect all these periods by comparing and contrasting their characteristics. Doing so allows us to grasp a larger picture of the social, culture, cultural, geographical, and political environment of the past and the day. With this knowledge, we can apply these techniques for studying music in the future. Thank you all for tuning in. That is all for today.